Welcome in, everybody. It is a Sunday morning, 11:40 Michigan time, Eastern time, and today I'm joined with my boy Nick, and we're getting ready to do our first ever Sunday breakdown of the Lions game and talk about how to get our keys to victory like we always do. Fortunately, Julius couldn't make the show, but I think we might be able to, do a little. Either we'll have all three of us on, we'll have two of us on. We'll figure it out for the next coming weeks, but all in all, Bears week, Nick, this is what we've been waiting for. Our chance to get a first win on the board. Justin Fields is starting. Khalil Mack is playing. It's going to be a fun one. So, what do you feel, man?
I feel good, dude. Like, this is the first time I feel good going into a game this season. And that's exciting to me. Like, we talked about this prior to the season even starting when we did our schedule breakdown. The first three games were very tough, very, very tough. And we came away covering two of the spreads, competitive with Green Bay for the first half, should have beat Baltimore. Like, our team, as much as we may not win more than 4 or 5 games this year, it seems like we're going to be competitive in every single game, which is awesome and better to see than what we saw last year when we were getting blown out and whatnot. So I'm excited. I'm excited for this. And then, like you said, it's Bear Week, dude. Let's eat some bear stew, bro. I'm going to go cook some bear tonight, eat it up. Nom, 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 nom. Can't wait, dude.
For sure. But yeah, Nick, you're kind of talking about the Lions. You said they're not, a terrible team like maybe not all Lions fans expected, but a lot of the media, and I'm sure some did. But all in all, I look at the Lions as the worst of the middle. So they're not in the bottom tier, but they're not like right at like the top tier or in the middle. They're at the bottom of the middle. So they're just outside of the worst tier, but they're not quite up with the middle contenders. But I think we could get there. And a win over Bears team, man, how great would it be? Going into week 5, and Bears are in last place in the North.
That would be great. That would be great. It would be a little bit better if we were going into week 4, second place in the division. If Tucker wouldn't have hit that, that would have been really nice. But if we can go 1-3, I'm happy. Take down the Bears. Take whatever wins we can get. I'm not trying to tank for the first pick. In fact, this year's draft is less than stellar in my opinion.
It's
right
weird.
now.
It's almost like there's like 4 guys that could be the first pick. That I guess quarterbacks, if there is a quarterback that Matt Corral or Sam Howell, if they go crazy the last few games or something, then they might get that one spot. But right now, it's normal. The quarterback's always the 1 pick, but right now it's looking like we might get another Myles Garrett type number 101.
Yes, exactly. Like I'll probably butcher his name, but the guy from Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeau, he obviously is the guy that everyone kind of wants. Even Michigan's edge, I believe,
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah. He's being talked about as maybe potentially a top 2-3 pick. Maybe the first pick, depending on how the rest of the season finishes off. Before I keep going into that, shout out Michigan State.
Oh baby, it's
both with one win closer to the undefeated showdown in East Lansing.
And see, the thing I love the most, I'm a Michigan fan, so I'm not a big old State fan, but I love saying Michigan 5-0, Michigan State 5-0, Owen State, not Owen State, Ohio State, not 5-0.
Not 5-0. Let's go Oregon, who then just lost, which kind of brings down the strength of schedule per se for Ohio State.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's very fun. I'm a Michigan State fan for anyone listening who doesn't know. So we got a fun rivalry here on the show. Julius is a Michigan fan as well, like Adam. But it's fun, and I just want to see the undefeated showdown. It'll just make that win or loss, the Michigan State game. I just want to see both teams be undefeated going into that. Yeah. It would be so fun.
Because honestly, both teams are undefeated for that game. Whoever gets the win is probably going to be like a top 7 team, honestly.
Yes. Absolutely.
By the time it comes with teams that have lost, and Michigan State and Michigan are probably getting close to top 12, inside top 12. So it's going to be fun. But
it would be even, and I know we'll get right back to the Lions, but it'll even be more like bigger of a mark for, or a bigger, I can't think of the word right now, but it'd be bigger for Michigan than Michigan State because Michigan on the road. So if they can go on the road and beat Wisconsin, and then I can't remember the next 2 games that they have, but I believe one's on the road, and it's not the easiest matchup. And then to go on the road a few weeks later and beat Michigan State, Michigan would be a team to be reckoned with. Like that would Cade McNamara would be the stud of all studs if this is happening. Like he needs to be talked about. So let's go Michigan. Let's go Michigan State. Let's see an undefeated. But we can get back to the Lions. The reason we brought it all up was the draft. I don't feel like this is a draft that we need to be tanking for. Win as many as you can. I feel like all these players are very close in skill set 1 through like 20, really, realistically. So falling from 6 to 12 this year isn't going to make that much of an impact, in my opinion. I don't think this is the year that we get our quarterback. I think we'll stick with Goff another year throughout his 2-year transition period. And the following year, we'll probably try to go after one. So I just want to win. Let's go Lions, beat the Bears, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with, not needing to go quarterback. Goff's been pretty good, honestly. He's kind of honestly shown that he still is the same player he was playing for Los Angeles. He just doesn't have good enough weapons, good enough defense surrounding him. So Lions, build up that defense around him, and who knows what we could get next year. But, man, Justin Fields, we got to talk about him. He's making his 2nd career start. Unfortunately, it's not his first, but I'll take the 2nd start. It's his first home start, so that is cool. I hope the Lions absolutely.
Wait. Oh yeah, they are home. Why was I literally just thought that Detroit was home. I was like, wait, no, we're home. No, you're right. Yes, first.
No, we're playing in rainy Soldier Field. Yes. But Fields getting his first home start. I can imagine the crowd's gonna be going crazy for him. But man, oh man, would I love for Michael Brockers, Levi Onwuzurike, whoever, Okora brothers, someone to sack Fields and just quiet the crowd. I want to hear nothing in Soldier Field. I want dead silence. I want to hear crickets chirping. That's what I want the atmosphere to be. And the Lions, I want to say last time we played in Soldier Field, we won, right? Or was
yeah. Yep. Because
we won was in Ford Field. So yeah, Goff getting his first chance to take down the Bears at Soldier Field. I did mention Khalil Mack will be playing. The one person who is going to be out is safety Tashawn Gibson. So decent guy will be out. Their secondary is a little banged up. But other than that, the Bears aren't really missing a whole lot. Darnell Mooney was questionable. He will be playing. As for the Lions, we are rolling with Santoso again for our kicker. So that'll be nice to see if he can keep that mojo going, if he even had any. But Siebert is ruled out, and Trey Flowers are ruled out. And I believe that is it. Swift, Okora, and Brockers are good to go.
So the Lions have a 3-game winning streak against the Bears at Soldier Field. Just so everyone knows, we're 3-0 in the last 3 games against them. Today's forecast shows 40% chance of rain from 1 to 3 p.m. with a little stoppage at 4, but thunderstorms supposed to be happening at the 3 p.m. hour. So we could see delays in this game. So I have to ask you, Adam, if we do see a delay, right? We go into halftime, all of a sudden lightning strikes and it's delayed an extra half hour. We have an hour break. How would you stay warm? You know what I mean? How would you stay warm if you're a player? You can't just sit in that locker room the whole time. You're not allowed on the field. You know what I mean? Is there anything specifically you can think about that you would be doing to keep yourself warm in that scenario?
I mean, probably just see. I would need to know who the team leader is. I would hope whoever our leader is kind of riling the team up. Hopefully it's not a blowout in which we're already stomped to the ground. Hopefully we got some momentum going if there's a delay. And if the Lions are driving and there's a delay that cuts off our momentum, I want to see, Goff, Swift, Hockenson be like, once the lights come back on, once we're cleared, we're going back down and score a touchdown.
Yeah.
No questions asked. So
I love it. Just like San Francisco did in that Super Bowl when the lights went out and they were down 38-3 at halftime. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but they were down a lot. And then all of a sudden they came out and it was Kaepernick who did that with Michael Crabtree and Frank Gore, and they did that. And then another question I bring up, I bring the rain up. So it's gonna be. So what if it's pouring first half? Do you just feed Swift and Jamal? Is this about to be a mud bowl running game?
I mean, it fits Goff in our scheme kind of well. We've been doing the checkdowns and the runs and dink and dunks and the screens, and it's been working. So
Yeah.
honestly, maybe a little rain. I know Julius hates it, and I know it
I
didn't
know.
favor us last week, but I don't know. Maybe rain to start, rain to end might be good, but rain coming in middle of the game, not so good.
I agree with you. I think it fits us a little bit more than it fits Justin Fields, who's more of a let me get out on the edge. If I have to run, I'll run. If I have to pass, I'll pass. That's not gonna be. You're gonna be slipping and sliding. It's gonna be your receivers will be slipping and sliding. Like you're prone to take bigger hits in this kind of game if you're a Justin Fields type player. I'm very, very interested, and I hope that it's rain all day. It would be so much fun.
A little mud bowl and Soldier Field
Yeah.
would be wild.
Did you see that? Did you see the response to Julius's tweet that I put out?
I don't think so. No,
It's a girl in this mud, and she's just like on the ground in the mud, and she's like inchworming her way through the mud. And I said, "Live look at Justin Fields today. Yeah, motherfucker, gonna be on the ground all day, face in the mud. We're just gonna be ripping at him. I can't wait."
That's crazy. Want to hear something insane? The Lions right now are doubling total pass yards opposed to the Bears. I worded that very weird, but the Lions have 267 pass yards as opposed to the Bears 133.
Wait, what are you talking about?
So I just listen to
per game, average.
Per game.
I was like, I swear we have passed more than 200 yards in the season so far. I promise you. Okay, yeah, per game. No, that's because Justin Fields passed for like 60 yards last week. I'm pretty sure 67 yards to be exact.
And man, you think this Bears defense, we know them. Oh, big bad Bears defense, Khalil Mack, they're stud. They've allowed 377 total yards per game. We've allowed 401. And we went into overtime game and Packers, and the Bears played, I want to say like the Rams were like their toughest offensive team. I wouldn't even
for sure. The Browns put up some points on them last week, I think, right?
Well, the Browns did, but
it was the Bengals that they really shut down. They really got a hold of Joe Burrow, got 3 picks against them. And
they literally shouldn't have won that game either. If they don't get 3 picks, if they only get 2, they don't win that game. Right. If they only get 1, they don't win that game. But they had to get the 3 because they got a pick 6, and this was all in the fourth quarter, or maybe end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter. It was a pick 6. Then they got another interception that led to a field goal. And then they were up 20-3 with like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And had that been a 2-score game, I think the Bengals tie it up, set into overtime, and maybe even get the win. But Burrow, he was a bit flustered, threw a couple picks.
Speaking of Burrow, I love that guy, dude. Did you see the mic'd up of him in Jacksonville? He said, just give me the ball. I got it. I'll do it. And it's like, let's go, Burrow, dude. He's the man. I like that kid a lot. I've always been rooting for Cincinnati because I always liked Andy Dalton. I liked Marvin Lewis. Like, I liked Cincinnati. I really did. So I'm always rooting for him. But I really like Burrow. Holy moly. And him and Jamar Chase have such a fun connection, dude. I wish I wouldn't have faded Jamar Chase in every fantasy draft. I didn't get him in one draft. I was so nervous of him. And it burned me.
Took Chase in one draft, and it paid off because it was a keeper league. And he's probably going to end up being one of my keepers. And ironically, I don't need to get into that. It's a whole different fantasy football topic. But my buddy John brings up a good question. If we're talking fantasy football, Allen Robinson. Nick, you got him on any teams, and would you feel comfortable with, rolling him out again against this Lions, poor secondary? You got other options like Cole Beasley, Devonta Smith, or Jacoby Myers. So do you say 4th time's a charm with Allen Robinson, or are you benching him until he proves it?
I got Allen Robinson in a league, and it's in the same league as Chase Claypool and Jonathan Taylor. And needless to say, I am 1-2, and it does not look good for the home team. I'm starting Cole Beasley in a league, and I'm starting Allen Robinson in a league. I'm not starting Jacoby Myers. I wouldn't start him against the Tampa Bay defense, even with the secondary as bad and banged up as it is. I still don't have any belief in Mac Jones. I just don't see Mac Jones putting up more than 200 yards and 1 touchdown. And you might get lucky. Maybe it's Jacoby Myers, but I think that's more of a risk. I think Devonta Smith has a good matchup with Kansas City, but in fact, I think they're going to kind of pivot to Devonta Smith, and I like Jalen Reagor more in that. So I got Reagor starting in a league as well. Boils down to Allen Robinson and Cole Beasley. because Cole Beasley had such a big week last week, I do not expect him to repeat that very much in the NFL. Week after week, it is every other week. Teams will focus on the guy who had a big week last week. They're going to focus as well as Diggs, but along with Beasley. And I would almost expect Emmanuel Sanders kind of have more of a breakout than he has already.
He's been looking good.
Yeah, he has. And thus, I'm going to stick with Allen Robinson against this Lions defense. And I don't want to root for it, obviously, but that's just the odds that I would go with right now.
All right, now bringing this question up.
Okay.
Who scores more fantasy points, half-point PPR, Allen Robinson or the top Lions receiver, wide receiver?
Wide receiver or pass catcher?
Wide receiver, because I believe Hockenson has a good chance to beat out.
Exactly. I would most definitely wait. Okay, so say that question. Who has more yards or more fantasy points?
Let's go fantasy points. But
so more fantasy points. I'm sticking with Allen Robinson. Even in half-point PPR, I expect him to be littered with the ball this week. 6-7 catches, 8-9 targets. Maybe for a commutative, I don't expect, with the rain going out, I don't expect any deep shots. So I'm going to go a commutative of like 60 yards. And then I think he catches a touchdown. So I would put, that's way more than any Lions wide receiver. Like Khalif Raymond is going to lead the Lions with 3 catches, 35 yards, and no touchdowns. Like that's going to be the top wide receiver for the Lions, which is tough, but that's what it is. It's
almost like I mentioned this a couple shows earlier. It seems like we've kind of been rotating our top receiver, as in week 1 was weird. It was ironically Trinity Benson was the wide receiver that got the most targets. And then week 2 against the Packers, we saw Cephas kind of break out as our wide receiver 1. And then week 3, just last week, it was Khalif Raymond who kind of had some opportunities. So, Nick, do you expect one of these, Khalif, Trinity Benson, or I guess, who's the wide receiver that you think will lead the Lions in targets today?
Khalif Raymond. I'm going to double down on it. Trinity Benson, you'll see get more action in the third and fourth quarter. That's when he starts to come out. That's when they put him in the game. Watch for him then. I hope it is Quintez Cephas because I still believe that he is our wide receiver 1, but unfortunately, so did defenders, and thus Goff isn't going to push the ball to him. Khalif Raymond is the Cooper Kupp of the Lions. He is the target that Jared Goff wants to hit. He runs small, short routes, very Deebo Samuel-esque, and gets the ball and tries to do things with yards after catch. So I'm going to go Khalif Raymond, a top targeted wide receiver with 6 targets. I'm going to say, I did just say 3, but I'm going to actually go up 1. I'm going to say 4 receptions, 41 yards. Khalif Raymond.
I like it.
What about you?
I'm kind of leaning Khalif again. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like someone random like Amon-Ra, Khalil Cardero, I don't even know how to say Hodge, one of those guys first, or even we just see the Hawk Swift Jamal Williams tandem where they accumulate for like 60% of Goff's targets.
100%, that's what it's going to be. That's like, and I even put 6 targets with Raymond. I bet the leading wide receiver honestly is going to be around 5. I like to think 6, but then you add the rain in. Our wide receivers are just nothing to write home about. You don't write home about them.
Yeah, so last week we held Lamar Jackson in check pretty well. He had 7 carries for 58 yards. And honestly, he had 1 big run for 31 yards. And if you take that away, that's 6 carries for 27 yards, which is incredible for a Lions defense against Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's awesome.
So now facing running quarterback Justin Fields. We didn't see him get a whole lot of opportunities to run last week, in which his O-line just was terrible. And that's one thing I want to see. I want to see our O-line, or our D-line, just frustrate the hell out of the Bears offensive line. Get to Fields. I want to see welcome to the NFL moments. I want to see big plays and just Lions take over fast. So all in all, if we can keep Fields in check, kind of like the Browns did last week, we don't have to do exactly what the Browns did to like keeping him to 1 yard. But if we can just keep him to what we did with Lamar Jackson, we win this game for sure because they don't have Justin Tucker.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Who is the kicker in Chicago? Hell if I know. Breaking news, though, real quick. Breaking news, not about the Lions. Talking to Chiefs folks here at the link, and they're backing up what Ian Rappaport says. Josh Gordon arrived in incredible shape for a guy who hasn't played in almost 2 years. He's at 7% body fat at 230 pounds. He's a freak, per Mike Garafolo. So get your Josh Gordon shares.
Oh, I know all about that, Mr. $61 spender. I couldn't believe that, man. I couldn't believe that. But
Let's
hey,
go, baby.
who knows?
You gotta fucking risk it for the biscuit, dude.
But Nick, I will say, the other day we had Calvin Johnson's I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. It's like
Pro Football Life.
Football Life. Why could I not think of that? Yeah. Did you happen to get a chance to watch it all?
Don't hate me, but no. It's still recorded. I haven't been able to watch it. I've just been busy. It came out Friday, I believe, and I've been busy all weekend. So plan on watching it tomorrow. Or maybe it came out Thursday night. I'm just an asshole. I should have watched that. I have seen a ton of the videos. His message to the fans was like that got me tearing up. Like, I mean, but I haven't seen it all. But I saw what you were tweeting out, so I saw a few things. So bring it up. What do we got?
Yeah, it's honestly awesome. I loved it. Calvin Johnson, he's just such a great guy, and I am now in more belief of him retiring for his own body and not retiring because he didn't want to play for the Lions. I think part of it was he was sick of losing, but he realized I'm not about to put my body on the line in which I can hardly move every day for this losing team. It just doesn't make sense. So I will say I'm a little bit more comforted on the Calvin Johnson retirement, but yeah, it's a great watch, man. He's a great guy. His whole family is just awesome. And then one thing that was on there when he was being campaigned for the Madden cover, I guess his mom was like his #1 campaign manager and was sending out emails to like second, third cousins, friends, neighbors, everyone saying, vote for Calvin. And they wanted Calvin to win it. So that was that. And then one other cool thing was Calvin Johnson's mom was a big fan of him going second to Detroit. And as weird as that sounds, you might think players would want their son or mothers would want their sons to go #1 overall, but she didn't want to have to fly out all the way to Oakland, cross the country each week, essentially, to watch her son play. Detroit, only a few hours away. So she was more than happy that the Lions took him. And yeah, man, I have to check it out.
Me too. I'm also very happy that he came to the Lions.
Definitely. But we're getting ready to wrap this show up. One last thing. Before kickoff, we got a little giveaway going. I retweeted one of my tweets. It is a DeAndre Swift giveaway. If DeAndre Swift scores the first touchdown of the Lions game, I'm giving away 2 winners, $50 each. So all you got to do is just retweet my tweet on Everyday FFB, and it's retweeted on the Honolulu Blues page as well. But if Swift scores that first touchdown, 2 people are winning $50 cash.
$50. And if you don't have Twitter, feel free to go comment on this video. We will see it, put you in the drawing. We appreciate you, even if you don't have Twitter.
For sure. But I think that concludes it. Once and for all, go Lions. We're going to get this dub. First one on the board.
Let's go Lions. Forward down the field. A victory will yield.
Yeah, baby. We're getting ready for that. All right, guys. We will catch you all on Tuesday. So see you guys then.